All right, welcome to the third game of the evening. Up this time is Warpips. Warpips is the ultimate quick-to-learn but amazingly deep tug-of-war strategy game. Deploy the right composition of soldiers, tanks, helicopters, and planes in this tight, streamlined, strategy-focused war game. Compose the best army, research the right tech, and overwhelm your enemy. Um, so War Pips was given to the Golics for review. Like, um, so over to him for the details on this particular war game.
So for the first thing, this game, the PC version of this game, at least, I don't know if there are others, has a kind of jank interface thing. It has button controls and it has mouse and keyboard controls. But if you activate the mouse and button, or if you activate the gamepad controls, the mouse and keyboard controls are canceled completely. And I had a hard time finding specifically how to, for example, with the gamepad, how to rearrange your units on the toolbar and how to select a couple of things. So personally, I recommend mouse and keyboard controls, of which you mostly only need the mouse.
As far as I can tell, this game is not on consoles yet.
Okay. So yeah, I recommend the mouse and keyboard controls over the gamepad slightly. So this is kind of like an RTS game where you have your base and the enemy has the enemy base, and you have to build units to take it out using resources that you gain incrementally over time. However, you don't actually directly control any of your units. You spawn them and then they just kind of do what they're going to do.
Huh.
The only exception is that later on you can activate a rush or defend mode, which will slightly deactivate it. But I mean, mostly they don't do too bad of a job, except for when they die super easily. But sometimes there are issues like the tactician, in addition to calling in artillery strikes, also has a radius around him that increases the accuracy of other things, and it's sometimes a little bit tricky to actually force them all to stand in the same goddamn radius. Like, sometimes they just fucking won't, and that's annoying. Also, in addition to gaining $5 normally every little bit of seconds, and you can upgrade that as you go. Pettyfan's doing the tutorial, I think, which is very quick. Assuming you don't fuck up, which I did the first time. Where was I?
You are talking about the tutorial?
No, before that. So yeah.
Oh.
There's a quick match mode, but I assume we're mostly talking about the campaign mode. So you have to, so yeah, basically you go to a thing in each map. The maps are all reasonably simple. And you build your dudes. As time progresses, you gain more money, and when the money reaches a certain amount, you can build another dude. The different kinds of dudes cost different amounts, and then there are also non-dude things you can do, like build walls or set up chain link fences, and those are all at set nodes on the map. And some of them can only be in front of or behind, or turrets is another one. And some of those can only be built in front of or behind your front line, which is where your guys can shoot to, basically, or where they are. Also, some more powerful units can't be built right at the beginning of stages. All of the stages have a maximum time limit after which you either win or lose, which is nice, because it means that they don't go on for hours like some RTS games can.
I played those.
Also, as your dudes kill enemy dudes, you gain those little metal things that are on the left side, and you can use those for, I think, 4 things. One of them is you can literally use them to make more money. You can just spend one to get more money. Another one is you can increase the number of dudes you're allowed to have on the map at once, which starts usually around 3 or 4 and can go up to at least 10. Though it depends somewhat on the map. And the perhaps most the one that I usually spent the most of time with is the far left option, which is to put an experience point in, and it takes generally 4 experience points to get to the first level and 5 more to get to the second level. And when you do that, basically all of your units get improved slightly. And by the time you're even halfway through an island, you start with 4, so you can just start with either. I usually just started with my dudes already upgraded once, instead of, for example, starting with 2 extra deployment slots and extra money. So yeah, there are dudes, there are emplacements that you can build. There are also a few targeted things. You can have a cannon at your base that'll try to shoot at what you're clicking on. There are smoke canisters that you can use to give your guys concealment. There are missiles that will launch at random targets for those. And there are various other weapons of various amount of war crime legality. And Pettyfan has built 3 tacticians, which was probably not a bright idea because the tacticians are significantly worse at basic fighting. But he can build 2 regular dudes, and they will have better guns. So that is the play within a stage. The play between stages is kind of where it gets interesting, because in the campaign mode, you have a map which has a region with your base, a region with the enemy bases, and then a bunch of neutral and enemy controlled regions in between. And first off, you get to choose what units you deploy with out of the ones that you have. And the ones that you deploy with are consumed for that battle, even if you don't use them up in the battle. Because you can't actually use them up. Even missiles and stuff recharge after a while. So yeah, you have to consider what you're going to bring into a thing based on what enemy loadout it shows for that stage. And your rewards, aside from getting some currencies for the what's that fucking called, the arms dealer in between stages, and for upgrades, where you can like permanently upgrade all of your stuff when you use it, or you can buy extra units, or you can I think that's most of it. Which are useful things to do. So yeah, you beat the stage, you get you generally get new units from beating a stage, and then you can choose which of those to deploy on the next stage, which will vary based on what you like. For example, there are some units that are better against artillery, better against vehicles, or can't work against vehicles, or are better against infantry, or can't use against infantry, or can't shoot flying things. You don't really run into flying things on the first island, but there are a few. But for each area you beat, you collect things and get resources. But you also use some of them up. But also, for each area you clear, the enemy armies in the remaining beat bases get stronger. So if you spend too long trying to get resources for the last fight, you might have made the enemy too strong to do it. But if you beeline right for the enemy headquarters and try to take them out in as short as possible, you may be under supplied. So that's an interesting balance to consider. The other major thing that I think I haven't talked about is that in the battles, I talked about how you can't always use your advanced things right at the beginning of the battle. The other thing is that there is the timer thing that is above the options of things you have to do. Oh yeah, the fourth thing you can do is actually you can upgrade the button that gives you money when you spend a combat point on it to give you more money, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Because I only use it for the money when I don't have enough dudes, or when I think I have enough dudes. So yeah, you can only place the sandbags on the yellow circles. They're a little bit to the left of the screen. That's what I was talking about placing things on set nodes. So yeah, the bar that goes across the timer actually kind of gives you, it doesn't tell you exactly what the enemies are going to deploy, but it tells you when they're going to deploy more and harder stuff. The greener the bar is, the lighter the threat is, the redder it is, the worse it is, and then it gets literal caution stripes when the enemy is using like their biggest thing. So sometimes you need to turtle a little bit during the hardest parts. Although honestly, I found it fairly easy to just get overpowered in there by sheer amount of money it would take to catch up. And guess as it says, you can also, when the enemy is getting close enough to your base and stuff, you actually get the option to sacrifice one of your units of guys that you can deploy to get money, which can sometimes be a good move if you're having a hard time deploying things anyway. But usually if you need that, you're also just in trouble. The music is about what's expected for a military action game. I felt like this is rockin' kind of music.
Huh. I would have expected like drums and bass.
A little bit of that, but it's not like serious war drama. It's just about Advance Wars level of caring about your individual dudes.
Mm.
It's kind of hard to care about a lot of them because generally, except for the guys with shields and armor, if the enemy gets like a critical hit or whatever, it will just kill them. I do also like that the defensive option out of the defense and aggression buttons also increases your weapon range. So if you use that smart, you can actually effectively use it to take out enemies of the same type as you because you will have more range than they do. Assuming you can identify the enemy type well, which these guys are kind of low res, so that's not always possible. So yeah, do you guys have any other questions, or have I explained it well enough?
I think you've covered the ground needed to be covered.
Yeah. I think it's generally pretty good, but sometimes I did wish I had a little bit more granular control over my dudes when they like refuse to actually get in the tactician aura or behind the cover or behind the shield dude even. So yeah. I'm under the impression that it's not amazingly long, but there's also quick play modes and stuff to increase the longevity. What's the damage price wise?
Let's see.
Oh yeah, and they do also recommend, even though you can deploy one dude as soon as you have the appropriate amount of money, maybe sometimes don't, because if you only have one dude advancing alone, he doesn't have anyone to cover him, so sometimes he will just get shot and die quickly.
Anyway,
yeah, price.
Well, let's see. So the regular price clocks in at $16.99. And there is the supporter pack for $3.99, which consists of the 3 different toys to put on your command UI in the game. They will bobble, wobble, and bounce when the screen shakes. Warpip bobblehead, tank toy, and portable turret toy. The complete Warpip
just
bobble.
Just cosmetics.
Yeah. The complete Warpip soundtrack, 3 special army colors, digital field manual, special Discord roles showing off your player supporter status. And let's see, the Warpip supporter bundle, which includes this and the supporter pack, will clock in at $20.98. Those are normal prices. I will say at time of recording, these are all on sale. Not even the deepest sale I've seen. In fact, like when this game got released, I think that it was going under $5, which is how I got copies for everyone. Since Anyway, it's currently going for $6.79. The support pack is $1.99, and the entire bundle is $8.34. Those will be lasting until June 20th at time of recording. So, as we usually calculate, is this game worth the full amount?
Maybe I would aim this closer to 10 to 12 than over 15.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's just me. I don't think it's like robbery or anything.
Well, so basically you would wait for a sale.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's fun. If that kind of game really appeals to you, it might be worth the full price. But from how long it's also, it does upgrade, or it does take a little bit to get good. You don't get most of the serious military hardware until a little further into the game. So, I don't know. I would probably, if it were me, I would probably wait for a sale.
Okay. Well, I mean,
but at least this is, as it says, as they advertise, it is just a game that you actually buy and does not have microtransactions, which is nice, because with a game like this, you absolutely could have put in microtransactions to like give you more stuff to spend at the arms dealer in between stages or whatever.
Oh, no doubt.
And I appreciate that they did not do that.
Anyway, so anything else on Warpips?
I think I'm good.
All right. So that'll about do it for Warpips. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we'll be covering Voodoo Detective.